Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Shmuel Aleph. And we are learning chapter 11, Perek Yud Aleph. And it's all about Shaul proving himself that he is fit to be king of Israel. And we're going to see that we are introduced to a personality called Nachash, Ha'amoni. Nachash meaning snake. And we're going to see what type of behavior it did. So it says here in Pasuk Aleph, Vaya'al Nachash ha'amoni, Vayichan al Yavesh Gilad, Vayomru kol anshe Yavesh el Nachash, Karat lanu Brit v'navdeka. So Nachash, who was the king of the Ammonites, went up and camped against Yavesh Gilad, and all the people of Yavesh Gilad said to Nachash, make a treaty with us, and we shall serve you. So we read this, and we have to have lots of questions. First of all, why Yavesh Gilad is being attacked? Second, why are the people of Yavesh Gilad wanting to make a brit with him and serve them? What's going on there? Before we answer that, let's just go through a couple more psukim, and then we'll look at the commentaries. Vayomer alehem Nachash ha'amoni. And Nachash of the Ammonites says to them, Bezot echrot lachem. On this condition, or with this, I shall make a brit with you. Bin kor lachem kol en yamin v'samtia cherpa al kol Yisrael. Here's the condition that I'll make a brit with you, by gouging out the right eye of every one of you. And I shall make this an embarrassment, a shame against all of Israel. Vayomru elav ziknei Yavesh, heref lanu shivat yamim v'noshcha malachim b'chol gvul Yisrael, v'mein Moshia otanu v'yatzanu elecha. And the elders of Yavesh said to him, give us 7 days respite, that we may send messengers throughout the entire border of Israel. And if there is no one to save us, we shall come out to you. So we've got to read this. We've got to understand what's happening here. 7 days. He wants to gouge out their eyes, but he's going to wait for them for 7 days. It's going to cause a cherpa, a disgrace to the whole of Israel. They want to get involved in a covenant. What's happening here? Who is this guy? Nachash ha'amoni. A lot of questions. We can jump down. I'm going to learn the Al-Shich. Any Al-Cheks on the line? Al-Shich is an old Turkish name. The Al-Shich was a famous rabbi from Turkey who wrote a commentary on Chumash, and he ended up moving to Sfat, where he was with all those Kabbalists in the 16th century. So they really must have had a good time, those guys. You know, you got the one who wrote Lechadodi, Rav Al-Kabetz. You have Aran Shulchan Aruch, working the Shulchan Aruch. I mean, they must have had a good group of learners out there. Must have been good air and good mountain air. Anyway, so the Al-Shich writes, Hine, by the way, you should read about that whole period of Jewish history. And Donna Gracia was the famous woman who donated lots and lots of money to grow that area of Israel, specifically the cities of Sfat and Tiberia, and allowing that area to be a place of Torah learning. And who took advantage of it? The Sfaradim who lived closely. Donna Gracia was one of those Spanish exiles, and so throughout those centuries afterwards, it became a Torah center. That's how it came out. Anyway, we're digressing too much. The Al-Shich says here, Hine Shaul halach el beito sar v'za'af kabal habayit echad misholel adam malhut aken ma'ashem yimshach inyan Nachash melech bnei Ammon leman yu hatzlacha al-yedei Shaul. Behold, at the end of last chapter, Shaul had gone to his home dejected, like a person not really the master of his kingdom. Therefore, Hashem arranged for Nachash, the king of Ammon, to attack so that people would see that their salvation came from Shaul. This was the perfect timing. Why now? Because Hashem wanted to orchestrate it thus. You don't think he's fit to be king of Israel? I'll prove to you that Shaul is the one. Why Yavesh Gilad? Says the Malbim. Kefi nir'eh hatakana nachash al shehimlichu Yisrael melech. V'ratzah letagar bo milchama. Lachein ala al anshe Yavesh Gilad. Since Israel just appointed a king, he wanted to wage war. So he began with the people of Yavesh Gilad. Why them? Ki b'nei Binyamin lakhu nesheihem ebnot Yavesh Gilad. Umistama etyashvu shemam b'nei Binyamin v'lachein ala alehem b'asher hem mishpachot hamelech u'mechot nav. After the episode of the concubine in Giv'ah, remember that story in the end of Shoftim a few months ago? We learned it, where the woman was cut up into pieces. There was one group from the town of Yavesh Gilad who did not go out to war. And as punishment for not going out to war, their women who were not married were forced to marry the remaining men of Binyamin. There were about 400 men of Binyamin who didn't have wives, or 700 actually, but 400 of them found wives from Yavesh Gilad. So therefore, what family is Shaul from? Shaul is from the family of Kish, he's from the tribe of Binyamin. So therefore, this border town wasn't just any random border town. It was the border town of the family of Shaul, the king, and his kinsmen. Not only that, perhaps some of the tribes are so frustrated with these people of Yavesh Gilad that, you know what? They wouldn't care if Nachash came and did some atrocity to them or attack them, because he already said, you know what, you guys are going to have to marry the Binyaminites because you didn't want to feel part of the tribe. Perhaps now, only 30, 40 years later, they still had bad feelings towards Yavesh Gilad. And perhaps that's says the Malbim, that's what's motivating us. That was motivating Nachash to exploit an area of weakness. Number one, to prove that Shaul does not have the support of the entire people. And number two, to pick a border town which was particularly unpopular. That's the Malbim. Why would Yavesh Gilad offer to make a brit? Why would they try to do a covenant with them? He's just telling them that he's going to kill them. Why would they say a brit? To understand here, when they're saying karat lanu brit, it doesn't mean a covenant. It means, you know, sometimes you have to pay a peace treaty, or you have to pay people a tribute. Says Masudat LeDavid, Leval hemitotanu. Just do this so you don't kill us. This was the one thing that they could offer them, which wouldn't mean certain death. Otherwise, there was total challenge here. There was nothing else they could do. So they said, this is what we can offer. Okay? This doesn't mean they're converting to the Ammonite religion. It means they're saying, what can we do that you won't kill us? And guess what? He comes up with the most blood-curdling thing. You know what? I won't kill you, but I'm going to embarrass you by gouging out your right eye. Now, what does this mean, gouging out your right eye? Rashi and Radak say the same thing, and I always love it when Rashi and Radak agree, because it's not so infrequent, but it's nice when it happens. So what happens here? Says Rashi and Radak, Kemashma'o, what does it mean? He's literally going to gouge out their right eyes. Umidrash agada heviuli. But if you look at the Midrash on the book of Shmuel, there's a lot there. He says, Heviuli sefer Toratchem, bring me your Torah, shedidna mi yamin, that was given by his right hand. Who's his right hand? God's right hand. Ve'asrefa, and I shall burn it. Why does he? What doesn't he like about the Torah? Al shekatuv bo, because it says there, lo yavo Ammoni umoavi. The Ammonites and Moabites shall not come into the Jewish people. Don't say you're going to make a peace treaty with me. There's no brit that you can do with me because your Torah has forbidden it. We can't have a brit because we can't be part of it. So here he's saying, you know how we're going to have a brit? If I destroy your Torah, then we can have a brit. So he's really galling. Now, if you actually look at that midrash, there are three positions brought down there. So, you know me. You quote a midrash, got to look at the source. Three answers. So Rashi and Radak just bring down the common one, but there's three there. Rabbi Levi Amar, Elo klaimu kashtim shebe Yisrael. These were the skilled archers and slingers of Israel. That's how we're going to have a peace treaty if I get rid of your slingers. And hold on to this idea of the slingers, because this is going to be very pertinent to us when we reach the story of King David, to realize this image of David and the sling, he isn't so, not necessarily he didn't know what he was doing when he had the sling there, and he killed Goliath when he killed Goliath. But the slingers and the archers, they're the best troops that you have in an army. Get rid of them? Easy. Rabbi Simon Amar, Rabbi Simon said, Elu Sanhedrin Shel Yisrael. The right eye represents the Sanhedrin of the Jewish people, the Supreme Court, as it were. Shehen Galgal Nehem Shel Yisrael, because they act as the judges, they're the eyes of the people. Nehem Shel Yisrael. V'Rabbanan Amrei Zeh Sefer Torah. And the rabbi said, this is the Sefer Torah, and the whole thing of destroying the Torah because of what it says, the Ammonites cannot join the Jewish people. Now, why will it be a disgrace to the Jewish people? Says the Metzudat David, Hadavar hazeh yehi cherpa lekol Yisrael, al shelo yuchlu lahashia etchem mebizayon gadol kazeh. The matter will be a disgrace to all Israel, that they weren't able to save them from this terrible embarrassment, from this terrible torture, which they would be about to face. Why did Nachash consent to the 7 days? Says Rav Levi ben Gershon, the Gersonides, he writes, Vehine hiskim bazeh Nachash. Why did Nachash agree to 7 days? He wanted to wipe them out straight away. Ki dato haya lehilachem im Yisrael velakachta et atzam im yuchal. He said to himself, wait a minute. This is great. He wanted to wage war over Israel and to conquer their whole land if possible. Perhaps, he said to himself, I get to win a battle not just with Yavesh Gilad, which is just a small border town, which transfers from one side to the other all the time. I might be able to have a war against the entire people, and I'll win. So therefore, they were offering him an option which was too good. The bait was too good to reject. Yeah, Rob is adding a really great piece in the notes here. And he's saying here that the Dead Sea manuscript has an additional passage here indicating that Nachash had already conquered Gad and Reuven, with only a few men escaping to Yavesh Gilad, the remainder having their right eyes gouged out. This background information explains why the surrender came so quickly and is consistent with the Ralbag. Absolutely. And it explains, if you look at a map of the east side of Israel, which was on the east side of the Jordan, that makes sense because Yavesh Gilad is up there in the north. So it shows they've already gone through Reuven and Gad before getting there, and would explain why they're so terrified and why they know that Nachash isn't just sporting with them. He truly is that to be concerned with. Let's go back up. And we see here, Pasuk Daled, Vayavo hamalachim givat Shaul, Vaydavu ha'devarim b'oznei ha'am, Vayisu kol ha'am et kolam, Vayivku. And the messengers came to Givah of Shaul, so that's the hill of Shaul, and spoke the words in the ears of the people, and the people raised their voice and cried. And we have to ask ourselves, why are they crying? We go down. Why are they crying? Says the Ma'am Loez. The messengers went directly to where Shaul lived. When they discovered that Shaul was not in the city, ready to lead them, but instead was continuing to pursue his own private affairs, they wept. They cried and said, you know what, we don't have a king. Who's going to lead us? So where was Shaul? Pasuk He, it says, Hinei Shaul ba acharei habakar min hasadeh, vayomer Shaul ma la'am ki yivku, vayisapru lo et divrei anshei Yavesh. And behold, Shaul came after the cattle from the fields, and Shaul said, what is troubling the people that they cry? And they told him the words of the people of Yavesh. So this whole phrase here, that he came after the cattle from the field, what does that mean? Two different, very different understandings of this. One, the Metzudat David and the Radak, and the other one, Rashi. Metzudat David and Radak say as follows. Al kein ra'a shebazuhu lo nahag gamuhu, adayin ba'atzmo kevod melucha. Seeing that he was not accepted by all, Shaul had returned home and continued to conduct himself as he had before, tending to the flocks like a commoner. And that's what got them upset. He's still behaving like a farmer. Rashi says, Achar zman moed biat habakar min hasadeh. No. After the appointed time that the cattle came in from the field, that was the time of day that Shaul came to speak with them. But I think if you look at the pshat of the pasuk, the simple understanding of the verse, I think it's clear that they're crying, they're lamenting because they don't know who's going to save them. Until when? Until Shaul has an incredible Hulk moment. It really is. Have a look at this. It's Samson-esque. Vatitzlach ruach Elohim Shaul kasham'o et advarim ha'ele vayicha apo me'od. And the Spirit of God passed over Shaul when he heard these words, and its wrath was kindled greatly. Vayikach tzemed bakar vaynatchehu vayishlach b'chol gvul Yisrael b'yad ha'malachim ne'mor asher enenu yotzeh achrei Shaul v'cha Shmuel ko yaseh levkaro vayipol pachad Hashem al ha'am vayitzu keshachad. And he took a yoke of oxen and he cut them into pieces and sent them throughout the entire border of Israel in the hand of the messenger, saying, whosoever does not go forth after Shaul and after Shmuel, so shall be done to his oxen. And a fear from Hashem fell upon the people, and they went forth as one man. He tears them up, the oxen, into pieces. Very much like the concubine who was cut up into pieces, scaring the people, demanding them to act. But notice here it says, and come after Shmuel as well. What's going on there? Let's have a look in our commentary. And first we'll talk about the Spirit of God. The Radak says, Vatitzach ruach Elohim, ruach gevurah, a spirit of strength, very much like Shimshon, like Samson. And why does it say after or behind Shmuel? Lefi shelo kiblu oto kulam lemelech, amar acharei Shmuel, mi shelo yirtzeh letzet acharai, yetzeh acharei Shmuel kidei shiyu zrizim letzet. Since not everyone accepted him as king, he said after Shmuel, for those who would not follow him after Shmuel, so they would do it with alacrity. And they did. And they came in their hundreds of thousands. And it's interesting to note that there were more people who joined for this battle than joined later for the battle against Amalek, which is a mitzvah d'oraita. I mean, all these are mitzvah d'oraita, serving the people and making sure that we're free. But that battle to destroy Amalek is an eternal mitzvah. Here it says 300,000 joined, and there were another 30,000 of Yehudah. But when it came to Amalek, I think it was only about 200 and something who joined in the battle. So just something to note there. But here we've got something very interesting. It says, Vayifkedem bebazek. He counted them in Bezek. And it gives you their numbers, 300,000 of Israel and 30,000 of Yehudah. He counted them? Isn't there a mitzvah not to count? So the plain point is, yes, you're not allowed to count normally, but for a battle, you're allowed to. Here, Rashi brings down a number of approaches. And Rashi also, I should note, it's also Radak. Again, they're all agreeing in this week's chapter. Rabotenu Amrim, b'shivrei charsim. He counted them with fragments of earthenware, with pottery shards. So each person had a pottery shard, counts the pottery shards. Lashon acher, ba'bezek, ba'avanim. He counted them with pebbles. Shnatal mikol echad even. Each one would take a stone and he'd count them. Kamo vayivkedem b'tlaim. Later, he counted them with lambs. Shnatal mikol echad taleh umanam. Kamo shiyu monim otam b'chatzi shkalim. Just as they would count them with half shekels. Okay, so he's saying here, you can do it with pottery shards, you can do it with pebbles, you can do it with lambs, you can do it with half silver shekels. And it's basically saying here that the Jewish people, depending on their time of their monarchy, depended on their prosperity. Sometimes they had the money that everyone could do a lamb, sometimes it was a half shekel, and sometimes it was pottery shards or even pebbles on the beach. Whatever they could get, that's how they counted the people. And that's why they got around counting them. Says Rashi, Lashon acher, another option. Babezek shaim makom anizkar. Bezek's a place, as it was Adoni Bezek, all the way back in the time, right at the beginning of Shoftim, there was a place called Bezek. So therefore, it's just the name of the place where they were counted. But here, all of Rashi is trying to explain how did they count them and why in different parts of Tanakh do they count with half shekels, sometimes with pottery shards, sometimes with lambs, sometimes with pebbles. It depended on the financial status of what they could offer. Let's go back up. By the way, it's a short chapter this week, in case you were wondering. There's some big ones coming up, but right now a short chapter. Pasuk Tet. Vayomru lamalachim habayim ko tomrun leish lavesh Gilad machar tiyeh lachem tshua kochom hashamesh vayavo hamalachim vayagidu lanshe Yavesh vayismachu. And they said to the messengers who had come, so shall you say to the people of Yavesh Gilad, tomorrow by the time the sun is hot, you will have deliverance. And the messengers came and told the people of Yavesh, and they were very happy. Yud, Vayomru anshe Yavesh, Machar netzei alechem, v'asitem lanu kachol hatov beinechem. And the people of Yavesh said, tomorrow we shall come out to you, and you may do to us all that is good in your eyes. And that is a very ambiguous statement. What do they mean? I mean, I know what they mean, but what do they mean? The Abar Banal says, V'hu ma'amar meshutaf, the message was indeed ambiguous. Yisrael hayu mechovanim latzet lilachem bam. The Jewish people meant, we're going to come out to wage war against you. V'ha'amonim chashvu sheyitzeu lishtabed alehem. But the Ammonites thought that they meant to surrender to them. It was another ruse, another way to eat into the ego of this Nachash character. Okay, you could say it's a little dodgy, but there we go. Yud Aleph. Vahi mimachorat, everything's fair in war. It's called a ruse de guerre. in French, as you might see if you watch Napoleonic warfare. Vahim machorat vayasem Shaul et ha'am shlosha rashim vayavo b'toch hamachane b'ashmoret haboker vayaku et Ammon ad chom hayom vahi hanisharim vayafutzu v'lo nisharu bam shnayim yachad. And it was the next day that Shaul put the people into 3 groups, and they came into the midst of the camp during the morning watch, and they smote the Ammonites until the heat of the day. And it was that those remaining scattered, and not even 2 of them remained together. What is this? What time did they go? It was the day? It wasn't in the middle of the night? When was this? Radak says, Mishalosh mishmarot shemechalkim halayla hashomrim kemo shne'emar b'davar Gidon v'Shaul ba el machane Ammon b'ashmora hashlishit shehaya ashmoret haboker. Just as Gidon had done all the way back in Shoftim, Shaul came and divided his army into 3 groups, and they attacked the Ammonite camp at the end of the 3rd watch. These watches were periods of time at the night. There was the first watch, the second watch, and the middle watch. At the end of the first watch is the time where we normally say the end of Kriyat Shema, or by midnight, by Chatzot. That's what we know about the watches. But it was the watches, they used to watch the Bet HaMikdash. And the first watch was the first 4 hours of the night. Second watch was the middle 4 hours. And the last watch was all the way up till dawn. So the end of the 3rd watch is right before dawn. That's when they attacked. First light, it's not even. That's the moment when they attacked. And that beautiful line here, not even 2 remained together. That's how they were able to flee. Vayafutzu, they fled, and not even 2 could be there. This was beautiful. This was a day where, again, it's almost like Hashem is doing the battle for them. All they have to do is sound their horns at dawn, and it's victory. And that's what they did. Yud Bet, Vayomer ha'am el Shmuel, and the people said to Shmuel, to Samuel, not to Shaul, to Samuel, Mi ha'omer Shaul yimloch aleinu, tenu anashim unmitem. Whoever said euphemistically, Shaul will reign over us, those people who made fun of him last week, give them over to the people and let us put them to death. And this is the stamp of the king. Vayomer Shaul, lo yumat ish bayom hazeh, no man shall die this day, ki hayom asa Hashem tshua b'Yisrael, because God has done a great salvation for the Jewish people. So you have to ask, is this another act of Shaul being overly humble? Surely someone who shows disrespect to the king, that is worthy of death. That's treason. Why didn't he kill them? Says the Mitzudat David, Ein ra'ui la'amit ish bayom tshua. It's not fitting on a day of divine salvation to kill these people. Okay. The Malbim says another reason why he pardoned them. Ki ad ata lo haya dinam kemored b'malchut, achar she'adayin lo hodu kulam b'malchuto ad she'oshia me'amon. Since he wasn't yet accepted as king, it wasn't really considered an act of treason or rebellion. He only really becomes king once he had the victory over Ammon, so it didn't deserve the death penalty. It was wrong, it wasn't right of them, but strictly speaking, says the Malbim, it's not really the death penalty. And this fits into the Malbim. The Malbim doesn't think that what Shaul did was wrong last week when he didn't kill those people or punish them for showing disrespect. For him, he's not the king until he's accepted by everyone. Whereas the other commentators said, no, he should have killed them because they were disrespectful. The only reason not to kill them here is because it's a day of divine salvation, but yes, they are fitting of death. Which goes into our final pasuk there, 2 psukim, which is, why is Shaul having another coronation? Vayomer Shmuel el ha'am, Lechu v'nelcha Gilgal unchadesh sham hamelucha. Shmuel said to the people, come, let us go to Gilgal and renew there the kingdom. Vayelchu kol ha'am ha'Gilgal, vayamlichu sham et Shaul, לפני Hashem ba'Gilgal, vayizbechu sham zvachim shlamim לפני Hashem, vayismach sham Shaul v'chol anshe Yisrael ad me'od. And all the people went to Gilgal, and there they made Shaul king before Hashem in Gilgal, and there they slaughtered peace offerings before Hashem, and Shaul and all the people rejoiced greatly. And that's the end. 15 very short psukim. We see here at the end, Rashi says, why is it happening again? Is because previously there was opposition to the matter, now they were all agreeable. Another way of understanding that pasuk is very clear. Shmuel wanted to have another chance to rebuke them. And that's what we're going to see in chapter 12 next week. In chapter 12, Shmuel gives another rebuke of what it means to have a king another time. But it's also, as we said, it's another opportunity for everyone to come together as one nation. They are healing the rifts which they'd had as being a tribal nation. Now they're no longer tribes, they're forming their one nation facet. And that's true of us today, whether we're Ashkenazim or Sfaradim, or religious or secular, whatever we might be, or traditional, we're all Jews, and that's part of our lesson of this, which already began way back when.